Hi. So it's been quite a long summer. We've been enjoying the house. Not made too many videos about what we've been doing. So we've been enjoying the garden, we've been enjoying the water and the beach and all the weather. May not have been the best summer, but we have enjoyed it while we've been here. Anyway, now it's getting towards autumn and the nights are starting to draw in. So now I'm starting to think about lighting because early evening it's starting to get dark and we need to consider, how we're going to do the lighting. So what I've decided to do is I've tried to look around at different options and I've settled on a Zigbee solution. Now, the home automation guy's done a great video about different types of lights. So I've had a look at that, gone through and I've selected the light I want. But first of all, I've gone through and decided what sort of Zigbee setup I'd like. So I came across the Home Assistant Sky Connect and I thought, well, this is probably going to be the best solution for me because it's nice and simple, straightforward, easy to do. Bought this in the box. You get some instructions on, I think, warranty and safety information, and then just a leaflet telling you where to go for detailed instructions. And you just get the Sky Connect, and then you get a USB cable. And the USB cable is just so you can put it a little bit further away from any of your equipment you're plugging it into, just to stop any interference. So that's an important thing when setting that up, but I'll do that in a moment. And then the actual light itself. So in our house we have brushed steel lights, and we're quite keen to keep that look to the house because we settle on that, we chose them. But what I did find from looking at the home automation guys selection of videos, one of the ones that came up as being a really good option is the Candeo smart dimmer switch, which operates on Zigbee. So I decided to get that. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to see if I can dismantle the insides of this and then attach it to the actual light fitting itself. So instead of having the the original light fittings behind controlling the dimmer, actually having the smart light fittings inside here. So you can have the white cover if your house is using white covers, and that'd be nice and easy. You should be able to plug it in, which is a good reason to have this as an option. But I'm hoping that there's similar fittings inside that I can take one apart and put it back together, and then keep the same front to it. So we'll see. Let's see how we get on. Right, so the first part is to connect the Sky Connect into your Home Assistant. Now, I have Home Assistant running on a mini Dell PC, but you might have yours on a Raspberry Pi or whatever you've got it on. But as long as there's a USB connection, then you'll be able to do this quite simply. So it's just a case of taking the dongle and the USB extender, and then as soon as you've got the USB dongle into the extender, you just literally find a free USB port and plug it in. Now, the reason for this is just so the dongle doesn't sit right by your PC or anything else that might give it interference, and it just gives you a little bit of leeway to put it a bit further away. So I'll just set it here while I'm setting it all up, but in its final location, it'll go back up into the loft in the house with the rack, and the mini PC will go up there as well. And it just gives me the opportunity just to set it a little bit further afield, just so it doesn't have any interference. The next job is to see if I can connect the Zigbee smart dimmer switch from Candeo, the insides, the controls, the smart part of it, to the back plate that I have taken off the wall and I need to replace. So this is just a straightforward back plate that has all the controls in there as a usual dimmer switch, and I just want to see if I can change it over and use the insides of here. So first thing to do is to pull off, hopefully, yep, there we go. So you simply just pull off the dial, and then behind here is a screw fitting that looks like, if I pinch it, I might be able to undo. I don't know if I'm going to need a screwdriver. No, I can do it with your fingers. So there's a threaded sort of nut on there, round, I can take off my hand, and then hopefully, there we go. So then that will just take the back out of there, and it just leaves this hole there. That's obviously the shape of the threaded feed, but with flat sides instead of being completely round, just to keep it in place. Now hopefully we have something similar in here, so let's see what we've got. Take out here, and then we'll do the same thing again. So what we'll do is take off the dial, just pulls off, and it's slightly different. We've got a nut, hexagon nut on top of a what looks like a washer, but it looks like the same sort of thing, and can't turn it with my hand. So if I use just a socket to go on there, because it's got the washer behind, it shouldn't then scratch on the back plate. So let's give me a bit of, here we are, a bit of leverage to get on that. Take the hexagon nut off, and then the washer, is that glued on, or is that going to come off? No, that comes off as well. There we go. Oh, and hopefully when that falls out, we have got a very similar shape. In fact, I'm rather thinking that's the exact same shape. So that's another reason for using this particular smart light from Candeo, is that it's not only does it replace, like for like on the wall if you have the white, but it's got the identical backplate that I've got for a metal one. So now I should be able to put it all back together, but to use the Candeo parts in the back of my metal plate. So if I push that through, and then if I use just the front part that came off the metal, so if I use the washer that came off the metal, hopefully it's the same size thread, and yes it is. There we go. I can just tighten that up by hand, because the original one was only hand tight. And then once that's on there, there we go. Hopefully I can use the same dial that came off. So if I can line that up, I think it's that way there. There we go. So now you can hear the clicking. I can feel the haptic feeling of the dial as it's turning round, and I've got the back plate on there, which is similar size to the control. So I think it's just going to go into the wall without any difference to how it was. So now I'm just going to fit that into the wall and be able to test it out. Okay, so connecting this back up should be fairly straightforward. Obviously this came from here, it's got similar connections to the dimmer switch that came off, so it should be quite easy to put back on. And then on the back here I've got the live connector, I've got the switched live on the left hand side, and in the middle then I've got another one, but if we're going to use that in a two-way light, but this is a one-way light, so really quite straightforward. So I need earth to earth, I've got the live, and then I've got the switch live on there. So I'm just going to connect them up. If you're in any doubt whatsoever about doing this, then obviously consult an electrician. Don't try and do it yourself if you're not sure what you're doing. And most importantly, make sure the power is disconnected, so there's no power coming through here, because if you do, then there's a good chance you're going to electrocute yourself, and that's not going to be pretty. In fact, that would be pretty silly. Okay, so the final job is then just to go and put the power back on, and then connect this into the Zigbee, just to make sure it's working, and then I can use it in the Home Assistant. Okay, now I've connected the Candeo smart lights to the back plate on my wall, refitted that, reconnected it. I have connected the Sky Connect to my instance of Home Assistant on my Dell Mini PC. I should now be able to go into Home Assistant and connect this all together. So in settings, I can go into devices and services, and then I can see the Sky Connect with Zigbee Home Automation. So if I can configure that, do I want to set it up? Yes, I do. Okay, so I want to create a network. And that's now initializing the network. Okay, so I've created the configuration for that. And it looks like I have one device. So that's my Zigbee Home Automation, and add devices via this device. Okay, so I have found my Candeo Zigbee dimmer, and I can add that to an area. So I'm going to add it to the dining room, and my installation is now complete. So now I can go in and I can use that. I can add it to my scenes. I can use the light switch just as a normal switch if I want to, and it's as simple as that. With the Zigbee configured and the light added, I can now go to my overview, for example. I can edit the dashboard, I can add a card, I can do, let's do a light, change that to the Zigbee, and set that to dining light, be okay. Don't need any themes or any actions, and I can save that. And then once I've done, there we go. So that now shows up onto the dashboard, and I should be able to just use that. Now that's all connected, I can use Home Assistant on my tablet, and I should be able to go into there and I should be able to turn the lights on. So I just press the dining room light on, and there they come. You probably show a little bit of flicker on the screen, but that's just the frame rate and the frequency of the lights. But I can assure you that they're not flickering, they're just on. And then I can just use the slider and I can dim them down. So I can move them down to really quite dull, 12%, which you can barely see, all the way up, and I make that 50%, and just switch them off and on, and up to 100%, and off again. Simple as that. There we go. Now I can get the Candeo switches, and I can put it on my other lights and use them all around the house. That's fantastic. All right. Thanks very much.